Today I want to do a site review. I want to show you some of the things that I teach in practice here. I want to take a look at the site here that one of you guys were kind enough to submit to me and allow me to have a look at and share with all of you. So the site here is called diaryforgardening.com and you can look it up. It's a pretty new site. There are 20 articles on the site. And I want to look at this site here without using expensive tools such as Ahrefs or Screaming Frog, which I normally would use for bigger sites, but this is a site with 20 articles, so it's not really necessary. And also I want to show you stuff that you're able to do yourself without going out and pay for an expensive service like that. So I want to start here by looking at a few technical things. Let's see if there's an XML sitemap for this site. So this sitemap file is just a list of URLs that exist on the site. So as soon as you publish a new article or a new post or page on the site, it will show up on this sitemap file. It's really just an index of all the URLs on the site, and we give this to Google in Search Console. But you can definitely figure that out just by Googling that. I just want to see if this file even exists, and if there's no SEO plugin on the site, it will show up on this URL here. It redirects to this URL here, and this is the URL that you want to submit in Search Console. So it appears he's using Rank Math, so that's a WordPress SEO plugin. I advise to not use an SEO plugin, but there's no harm done in doing that. So here we can see a list of all the posts and the pages, and Rank Math here is not showing us a list of all the categories. If we didn't use an SEO tool and we just relied on the built-in sitemap in WordPress, we would also have a list of all the categories on the site. But I don't have access to that right now, but normally we would have another line here for the categories and tags on the pages and such. But that's a good thing to check, that you don't have like 50 categories on the site and maybe you're just working on one of them because it's a new site, because that might just confuse Google to have all these URLs to look at while very few of them have any content. There's just no need in building out categories before you have the content. But this looks fine. There's an XML sitemap, and of course, you'll see here all the articles. So there's around 20 right now. And we can also see a list of all the pages on the site. You can see there's a blog page there where we can probably find all the articles. So that's all great. I just wanted to check that it's there. I trust that he submitted this in Search Console. Now, the next thing I want to check is that we have set up a redirect from the HTTP to the HTTPS. So the HTTPS here just means that we show the secure version of the site, and we can remove this S here just to see that it redirects. You see that it's working. We are sent to the HTTPS version. So this is important if somebody want to link to the site and for some reason they didn't include this S in the HTTPS. Or if they left out the www, let's just see if those links would be sent to the correct version. But that's also working just fine. So that's great, because otherwise the site won't benefit from these links down the line. And you will always have a few people linking to you without the wwws or the HTTPS. So that's great too. The next thing I want to check from a technical perspective is how responsive the theme is. I just want to check that it loads correctly. And already here I see some funny stuff. I see some letters down here. It doesn't look right to me. Let's just try and squeeze the page a little bit. Now it looks much better. So for some reason, when I go out here, it doesn't load properly. So there's some issues here with the theme. I always advise to just go with one of the bigger theme, like Generate Press, or I use Astra on all my sites, but there are a lot of great themes out there. I don't know what the theme is here, but I just see that it's definitely causing some trouble here because this just doesn't look great. So if you can't fix something like this, just go with Astra. Then I want to check the load time. And as I was loading up the site here in incognito, I had this ad here before the page loads. And I don't like these ads that come in between the page loads here. I think it's a pretty bad user experience. It reminds me of a pop-up. I would just get rid of them. As I understand from Zoic and AdThrive and Medialine, they add very, very little extra revenue to your site. So it's probably an idea to just disable those. Then I ran the speed test here. You always want to check the speed of your site in incognito mode, and then you want to go into this lighthouse feature here. So you want to use Chrome. You want to click View up here at the top, go to Developer and click Developer Tools. Then you want to click this lighthouse option here. And then you want to run this speed test in here because you don't have any plugins that could slow down the test. And also this is how Google recommend we do this. So let's just generate this report here. So you want to do it for mobile and desktop. So let's see what the score is here. So it's 89. That's great for a site with ads. I see we're running some Mesoic ads here, so nothing to worry about here. I did the same test for desktop. We saw 95, 98, 87, 93, and the overall performance score here that's really great. We'll always see lower scores for mobile because Google just assumed that you are working on a slower processor, a slower machine, because a mobile is not as fast as a desktop computer, so it'll just load slower. But this is definitely fine. In almost any niche is fine if you're in the 80s or 90s with ads, I'd say. Let's move back again and out of incognito mode. So those were a few technical things. Now I want to look a bit at the content on the site. So I checked out a few articles, and this one here, for example, 7 tips to peace lily care indoor. It's probably a specific type of plant or something. I just noticed that the second paragraph here is repeated. This section is the exact same as this one here. And I also read a little bit from this here, and a sentence like this: a lot of nurseries and people selling peace lily, full stop. That doesn't really make sense. So I think you would need an editor to have a look at this. Also, from reading this, I get the feeling that it's not a native English speaker, and that's not a problem. But I would advise you to have an English-speaking editor who really knows English well, and somebody who can just clean this up. Looks like it was kind of mass-produced, maybe spread across a team of writers who just want to generate a lot of content fast. That's something that Google advise against. But it's not the end of the world. I do like to see that there's a sentence bolded here, and we have a lot of line breaks. We have a table of contents. I like that as well. Down here we have a bulleted list. That's just great for readability. We have a lot of line breaks, and there's some internal links here probably. And I like how this is formatted. You'll see it's broken up into paragraphs, and you have subheadings: suitable soil for peace lily, humidity and temperature. And I suppose this was about how to take care of this type of plant indoors. I think that's pretty great. Let's just take a look at the table of contents here. Peace lily care overview, water requirements, suitable soil, humidity and temperature, light condition, peace fertilizer, peace lily propagation, flower. I think this is great. I suppose this is what you want to know if you're looking for how to take care of these things. Brighter light, how to get flowers on it. Probably something everybody wants. Do peace lilies need sunlight? How to get my peace lily to flower again. I think the outline here is really great. It goes very well hand in hand with the main headline up here, which is the first thing that I'm concerned with. It doesn't look like the owner here is just trying to cram a ton of keywords and related stuff and synonyms into it. It's really just what people will be looking for. It's pretty lengthy, it seems. I like the formatting here. Let's just see how long it is. So there's a picture here that looks like something you would post to Pinterest. That's fine as well. Yeah, would you love this? You can pin the article, so there you go. Let's just see how long it is. I have this browser extension here called Word Counter Plus. So you just mark the word, you right click, and it's 2,799. It's definitely a long article, so it's a lot of money to pay for this article if you could get away with only 1,500 words. I don't know what the competition level is here. Let's just check that out. Maybe we didn't need to write that much. If we could do with half this article, just like 1,500 words, you could have 2 articles and probably a lot more traffic. So this would target something like 7 tips to peace lily care, like how to care for a peace lily. There you have it. Let's just see what the competition is. So we have Gardener's World, how to grow peace lily, how to care for peace lily plants, growing a peace lily plant. So sounds like these are pretty much on point. Let's just see if there's something else. So this 7 tips to peace lily care indoor. Okay, so it was specifically indoor. I think I saw that one. How to take care of peace lily indoors. Let's try narrowing it down to just that for now. How to grow peace lily. So it's not specifically indoor. How to care for peace lily plants. Let's just see what these guys here have. This one here looks like a pretty big site. You would have to look into how authoritative they are. How to grow peace lily. How how to plant it, caring for peace lily, that's the same thing, growing peace lily, pest problem solving. So it's not that long. Maybe he's trying to beat this other one here with a much longer article. Let's just see how long this is. So this one is 700 words. So maybe we'll be able to beat it with a couple of thousand words, but I would advise to just look for more underserved topics, because this is one of the first 20 articles on the site. I would not go for something where we already see competition, because it will just delay the rankings for the site, and it'll be much easier to rank for something where you didn't have any competition. But again, if you really want to write this article, I think it is a good idea to write double the length of this bigger site here. And again, about these formatting things here, like repeating the same stuff, and it's not really cleaned up, and some of these sentences here are not all that great. So remember, you only need to beat the competition. But since we do have some competitors here, you might not be able to get up there, because Google will see that you have the same paragraph here repeated. So that's not a great sign. So I would definitely clean that up. Now let's take a look at the headlines on the site. So we'll have to squeeze it in a little bit here to see them, because it cracks up here again. 9 rare peace lily varieties. You'll be amazed with pictures. It's probably fine. 25 stunning photos. I don't know how to say that. It's probably a flower. Varieties with pictures and details. Popular types of pothos. So this is a pretty long headline. Too long to be used for the meta title. It'll be truncated and shortened a little bit by Google. How to propagate philodendron xylem. Stem cutting and root cutting explained. It's also quite lengthy, I'd say. I'll probably cut that down a little bit. Since we saw that this guy is using an SEO plugin, it might just be that he set specific meta titles. Let's just check that out. You can see that by just placing your mouse over the tab here. That'll be the meta title. 25 stunning photos varieties with pictures and details. Diaryforgardening.com. So that's a little different. It's still on the long side, I'd say. I'd probably remove the part where you mention the URL or the domain name here in the title, because it makes it pretty long. And that might be something that's set in Rank Math. So I would just remove this Rank Math SEO plugin altogether and just have Google pull this same headline here, because you want people to see that they found exactly what they were clicking on and looking for. So I don't really see the idea behind showing one headline in Google and another one when you land on the page. To me, that's just not a great user experience. And I see great results with just not having any SEO plugins. So I would shorten this and just let Google grab this for the meta title. Other than that, I think they are pretty enticing. I like this with pictures and details. And explained is also something that I do across my sites. You've probably seen me use it on one of my sites. Now let's look at monetization. I'm just gonna pull up the site here in incognito in order to see the ads, because I have an ad blocker. Now you'll see the ads popping in here and here. And there's some space reserved for ads here as well. I don't see the sidebar here though. I would definitely have a sidebar out here, because especially here on desktop, you want to have ads out here. You want this sticker ad that just scrolls along with you as you start reading the article. We do have a footer ad down here. Let me just pull it up so you can see it. There's a footer ad down here. So that's great. We want the footer ad. It's paying really well, but we definitely want the sidebar. You'll probably see a 30% bump up in revenue just from adding the sidebar. And then don't place a lot of stuff in the sidebar. Just allow for ads out there. They work so well. And other than that, I think all the content for now is just what we can call educational or informational. I didn't see a lot of best X for Y or something that's very affiliate heavy. It's really just articles teaching you something about these plants, and that's great. That's how I would go for the first 40, 50 articles at least, probably until you have like 10 or 20,000 page views. Not until then, or maybe even later, I would start writing something about products and linking to products and comparing products, doing reviews. Unless you can find some of these that are underserved, then totally go for them. You don't have to wait with the affiliate heavy stuff. It's just that normally we can't compete. I see very few niches where nobody wrote the best X for Y type stuff and the review stuff for the most popular products. So just wait for that till you have some more momentum in Google. And that's also what this guy is doing here, it seems. So that's great. Now I also want to look at how the site comes across from anybody wanting to link to this site here. So first, the logo up here is super small. I would make that a little bigger. Could be something with the theme again. I also want to check that the front page here looks great. I would remove the ads here on the front page. I mean, they don't really pay that well, and we don't have too many people even checking out the front page for more than a few seconds just to see if it's a legit site. And I mean, having ads squeezed in here just makes it look a little cheap. I would just remove those and clean up the front page and remove all the ads here, even the footer ad. So let's check the about page. Looks like we're having some ads here as well. I would definitely advise against ads on the about page here, because people going to the about page just want to see if they can trust the site or if they want to link to it. There's just no need to show these guys ads. They will just stay there for a few seconds anyway. So remove those, remove all the ads here. It's very easy to do with all the ad providers. And let's see what we have. We do have a picture here. That's great. I'm Alex Hook, a gardener, designer, blogger, as well as an author. If you love gardening, you landed in the right place, blah, blah, blah. Joy Us Garden is all about gardening. So it looks like the guy here is calling the site Joy Us Garden, but the site is called diaryforgardening.com. Maybe this site migrated from another URL. You need to fix this and name the site correctly. And something like Diary for Gardening is all about gardening. It seems a little rushed. Then a lot of ads here. I'll probably add some more stuff here. Add some stuff about why you are the go-to guy for anything around gardens. So you mostly just say that you write articles and post about gardens and how-tos. Yes, but I can already see that because I'm on your site. You don't need to tell me that you're a blogger. I can see that, thanks. In addition to writing our weekly blogs, books, and doing videos for Joy Us Garden TV, I design handmade gardening accessories. That's pretty cool. So I will probably dive more into that, show some of that, show you doing these gardening accessories and link to a store where you sell those or a manufacturing page or whatever. We also offer air plants directly from a local greenhouse, as well as gardening and crafting tools and gifts. So include a link here so I can see that you are in fact a manufacturer. That's pretty cool. More pictures, more stuff about why you know what you're talking about. I just need to see immediately that I can trust you with this information. Regardless of whether we're addressing people just reading the blog or somebody who wants to see if they can link to it, if it's a good source to quote, just give them a little more here. Get a new theme, fix these technical things, and get an editor on board to help you clean up the articles, and just continue doing what you do here. I think this site can work well. I hope you learned something. Let me know in the comments if you had any takeaways from what I showed you on this site here. And if there's something that you think I should have gotten into, just ask me in the comments and then I'll answer the best I can. See you guys.